All right, what is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be breaking down Petr Yan and his style for MMA. So I know you guys have been watching my previous style breakdowns. However, if you want more techniques or concepts behind what they're doing in these styles, I'll be posting things on my Patreon as well. But first, I think when we look at Petr Yan, the first thing we have to look at is his base, right? He has a Muay Thai boxing hybrid base, and when you watch him, you can tell that he has a real good understanding of the kicks, right? Not only does he have a good understanding of the kicks, but his straight punches as well. I mean, he has an excellent jab, he has a patient high guard, and his defense for the kicks is almost as impressive as his offense for the kicks as well. And we're going to be covering all of that, but I think the more important thing to talk about is his fight IQ and the way he uses all of his attributes. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down his style into 3 phases. First, starting off with how he likes to approach the fight, which is in a patient manner, right? So going into phase 1, Petr Yan is known for his high guard, and he uses this high guard in the first phase of his style in order to get reads, right? So when he's here, right, he's in front of his opponents, he always has a very patient style. He's not really throwing many punches. At most, he'll throw a jab, a cross, or just one strike at a time, right? So a lot of times he's throwing the jab, right? And that it varies in timing, whether he's going during, before, or after. But he's really using this high guard to where, like, if they throw any punches or whatever, it's mobile. He's using it. He uses this long guard at times, high guard in close. But when he's exiting out, he uses the long guard. And that's how he is able to see all the kicks and stuff coming at his way as well. With this long guard, he's keeping that shoulder high to help protect against any overhands or crosses or anything like that. Then this hand is protecting against any uppercuts or hooks as well. And then he's also using this jabbing at their hands. If they're throwing hooks, he's jabbing at their shoulders and different things like that. He has unique accuracy when it comes to how he uses his strikes, as we saw when he last fought Merab Dvalishvili and he was elbowing the forearms, right? But again, he's using this high guard just to stay safe enough. Some punches might get through, but he's really good about aiming his forearms at the punches to block everything. And then he's using these single strikes, right? So once he gets a read on how they're moving, right, he'll move around, right? And then boom, he'll hit side kicks. Boom, he'll hit jabs. He'll start slipping jabs and looking for his cross and things like that. He'll pull people in with the high guard. So they'll throw a combination and then he'll slip off and throw it too. And this is how you see him start to create that initial fear in his opponents, and it gets them to not want to come forward anymore. And they start trying to move around and poke at his high guard instead, almost like trying to pop shot him because they don't want to waste too much energy spending combinations on his high guard since he's so responsible, right? So not only does he use the straight kicks to the lower half in his first phase, but he'll also do very short combinations like a jab, lead hook, low kick. He'll come here and he'll use the calf kick. A lot of times he'll do these same side strikes to where he's like throwing a hook into a round kick or throwing a hook into a round kick at the calf. And you see these types of things. At first, they start doing damage, but then they add up and start creating these unique off balances as well. And this is all in his reading process, right? He's looking at their reactions. He doesn't want to throw too much at the beginning because he wants to get the reads without them knowing any information about him. Now, once he starts getting them going backwards, the last part of this first phase is the last reason he takes this approach in this first phase is so that now they're no longer getting pressured by this or by this, but now they're getting pressured by this. So they just want to back up already off the gate and start looking to move around, circle out, and things like that. And that is what leads him into his second phase. Once he establishes that dominance of that center, then he'll move on to the second phase. Now, the second phase is where you see a lot of the cool, unique things from Petr Yan. The second phase is where you'll see him use this pressure, and when they start circling off, he's reading that, right? So he'll do it again, and then as they circle off, this time he'll cut them off with strikes, right? One of his favorite combinations to use is a lead hook to a round kick on the same side, right? He'll throw this hook at the same time as he switches, boom, to get that elbow up. And then from here, he'll have a free kick to the body, right? We talked about it earlier. He likes throwing a lot of these same side strikes. But another thing he does once he starts getting them going backwards is he throws these switch rounds when they get to the cage. But the way that he gets them to the cage is by long blitz combinations, right? To where he'll be throwing his jab cross, but when he does it, he'll go jab cross as he switches stances, and then he'll throw his second cross from the other stance, right? So he'll go 1, 2, 3, right? Or 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And this is before they hit the cage, so you could just go straight back, right? So again, they match the distance, 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And he's almost like doing this little like march as he's punching, and it helps him to be able to close that distance while also still technically keeping a long guard as he's throwing these punches, hiding behind his shoulders as well. So it makes it hard for them to return, right? Another thing you have to realize in order to be able to try and use some of these things from his style is that he has a good understanding of both stances as well. He's never off balance, right? So if you're trying to emulate this style, you got to remember to stay balanced, whether you're switching stances for defense or for offense, right? Because he'll switch stances, but he's still low. He's still in his stance and balanced, right? He never compromises his balance, no matter what he's doing. And then the last part of this second phase, another cool thing that you'll see from him is once he starts getting people reacting to these round kicks, right, and throwing them one at a time, he'll start throwing these round kicks, but really he's looking for this Osoto Gari where he comes here, lifts up the leg, and trips his opponents, right? You see it all the time in his fights. He'll get people used to all these hooks, boom, and he's mixing them up. He's switching stances. He's going to the body, and then he'll switch, boom, and he'll hit one of these Osoto Gari trips, which just goes to his level of understanding in mixed martial arts as a whole, which gets even crazier, honestly, in the third phase, because he has one of the most beautiful styles in the game today with how he mixes it up. But yes, so once he establishes the range and then he's capitalizing, pressuring them to the cage and cutting them off with strikes when they get to the cage, then that leads us into his third phase, which is really beautiful to watch. So the first part of this third phase is now, instead of throwing combinations just to back him up and capitalize, or just to capitalize off of his circle outs, now he combines the two together, right? So you've seen him do these things where he's like spinning and attacking at the same time, right? Like he might start off with this, and then the next time he'll fake it. He'll go like 1, 2, and they're backing up, they're circling away, and then he's throwing spinning strikes like this, using this energy to flow into these next strikes, right? So he'll, like I said, it's really beautiful to watch. It's like a flow state almost, right? He'll do it off of this right hand as well. Again, he's switching stances, but he's still balanced, right? So if I'm doing it off the kick, I'm throwing this kick as I throw it, but I'm faking it and just stepping in my other stance and really leaning into this back fist or into this hook if they exit out, right? Say we're here and he's constantly walking them down. He's circling out and stuff, and he's getting them going backwards. Once he creates this momentum, then boom, he'll start going. And as they're exiting, he's catching them on the exit. So he'll get them going backwards and going sideways, which honestly is a good defense. That's how you're supposed to use your footwork. But obviously he has techniques to go against that. Yes. Not only will you see him do it with the upper half, but he'll also do it with the lower half as well, doing things like cross hook into different spinning kicks, heel kicks, all sorts of different things, like I said. But another thing he does in this first phase, other than these like flow state sort of combinations, is he'll start implementing the trips not only by themselves, but into his striking, right? So one of the awesome ones he was doing against Song Yadong was just jabbing at the knee, right? He'll jab at the knee, and then he'll come up with the uppercut. Jab at the knee, get that level change reaction. They start taking their hands back. That's where the uppercut comes in. And you've seen him do it in Song Yadong fight. You also saw him do this in was it Cheeto? Who was it? No, did he even fight Cheeto? Where he did some fucking crazy ass. He like went jab, uppercut into the trip. Corey? No, it wasn't Corey. It was Song Yadong.
Was it Song Yudong?
I think it was Song Yudong, to where he was throwing this jab uppercut, but now after getting the reactions, he'll go jab, they'll to imitate the level change. So they're taking their leg back. He goes uppercut. And then as he's doing this, he's transitioning it into a double leg. So he goes jab, uppercut, and he'll come around this leg, right? So jab, uppercut, creates a tabletop, and then he could start coming in through like that. You see him hit all sorts of different traditional sweeps, like stepping off to the side, coming through and kicking out the legs. But again, the real unique one he did is a jab, uppercut, and then as they're stepping back, he's closing this gap and using his head to create like a tabletop situation and double leg them over. And I've broken this one down. You can go ahead and check that one out if y'all want to deeper dive on that. But that was just one example. He'll use the Osotogari as well, coming in as they pull back and defend. He's throwing strikes. He uses the grappling to set up his striking. And then in later fights, we've seen him be able to capitalize on the grappling as well to be able to continue the fight on the ground and actually hold some stature there as well. But yeah, so in his third phase, he gets into these flow state combinations with grappling, trips, spins, and all the cool shit that everyone likes to watch on TV. But all of this is based off of those first two phases, the straight punches in his combinations and the round kicks, comboing the two together in order to get, and with the high guard in order to get that forward pressure going. And then he could do all the cool shit because they're going backwards. But guys, thank you for watching this video. This was Petr Yan's style breakdown. If you want more on this style or actually individual classes that I teach on this style, go ahead and visit the Patreon. But with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.